So right now with the upcoming master rule changes, with the ban list, and with the upcoming support coming out for water decks in general in Yu-Gi-Oh!, Mermail's actually in a really interesting place right now. And in this video, I kind of want to just talk about Mermail, unscripted, just me and you sitting down at the card shop, talking about this deck, the changes going forward, because as you guys know, if you guys watch the channel, I know I don't upload a lot, but Mermail's my favorite deck. Been playing it for a while. So if we were to look back at the ban list, I'm sure you guys know, the big elephant in the room for Mermails. We have 2 of these now, which is really, really good. So one of the issues I had with Sea Diva in the past is there was a lot of really cool combos that were heavily reliant on Diva. Basically, Diva got everything going. If Diva got hand trapped, you had no plays, with the exception of the Orcus Mermail variant when that was a thing back before Mermaid got banned. But that's not a thing anymore. So the issue I have with that is you summon Diva, it gets ashed, whatever, you lose. Also, the fact that there was only one Diva. Yeah, I know you can search it off of Dragoons and stuff like that, but you're not always going to have it. Having a one-of copy, even though it is searchable, it still has some inconsistencies. But now that we have 2, I've actually decided to play Called by the Grave again in my Mermail deck. Now, previously I didn't really play this. I've played Sekka's variants. I've played one of my favorite variants of the past year or so, I would say, of Mermail. Would have been any variant where I was playing this card, because, this card is really good. Unfortunately, can't play that. Oh, unfortunately. I use that term very loosely. We can't play that variant anymore. So I kind of realized, okay, if I play Diva and I have 2 of them, in theory, I'm going to summon Diva twice as often. Is that how that works? I don't really know. So I want to play Called by the Grave now in this deck, just because you need Diva to go through. Is it the right play? I don't know. Also, about this deck, I'm not really doing a deck problem. I'm just kind of showing, what I'm playing and talking about it. I have not gone to locals or anything to test this variant. I've actually haven't even really played Yu-Gi-Oh! Very much the past couple months, and really into the Pokemon TCG, hence the mat, I guess. And I pretty much haven't played since, the Chaos Impact Sneak Peek. Aside from doing test ends on my own, which I always like to do with this deck, Pendulum decks, any combo variant deck. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. I am a long-time Mermail player, but I have not played Yu-Gi-Oh! Since probably the Chaos Impact Sneak Peek or so. Anyway, I am going to the sneak peek this weekend, though. Whatever the set's called. The new set. I don't even know what's in it. I know Plunder Patrol's in it. We're going to that. But anyway, back to Mermail. So I feel like Diva's just getting better and stuff like that. I'll talk more about that in a second. We also got this card. Pot of Avarice. I don't know if this card's good or not in Mermail yet. It is a one-of, and since we lost Sekka's, there's literally no point to play Sekka's anymore. So I figured, let's try Pot of Avarice, because in Mermail, there's a lot of different combos I've done in the past. You can also look up other combo videos. I know there's a channel called Quizio, or Quazio, I'm not really sure if I'm saying that right. He has a lot of Mermail variants, and if you look at, or Mermail combos, I should say, and if you look at those combos, you'll notice a lot of instances where you get 5 waters engraved really easily. It also just, coincidentally happens that you need 5 waters engraved to summon Mulan. So, while doing test hands, I realized that what you can do is you can summon Mulan and then just Pot of Avarice everything back. And another issue with Mermail I've noticed is you kind of run out of steam pretty early on. All your Dragoons go in the graveyard by turn 1. At least 2 of them go in the graveyard by turn 1 if you're playing Mermail. If you're not completely brick. And after that, you really can't play out. Let's say you go first, you send all your Dragoons, and let's say your opponent doesn't exactly fully break your board, but they break it enough to a point where you're not in so much of an advantageous state anymore. And if you don't have any Dragoons in the deck, you really can't do much. And this adds it back. Sure, it's a one-of. Still trying it out. I don't know. I don't really know if it'll... right now, I feel like it's good, but at the same time, I feel like it's win more, if that makes sense. Because you draw 2... It helps you, if you open with it and you go first and you have a really good hand, it makes it so your opponent pretty much will never be able to play out of it, because you're going to shuffle your resources back and draw 2. Really good, but it might be one more. Also, we got this card, which I don't know if this is worth playing, but it's a water. I am pretty sure, don't quote me on this, that if you discard Dragoons off of this, it's discarded for cost, so you do get the Dragoon search. Don't know that for sure, but I do think it's worth mentioning that, this card is a water, level 4. Aqua could work. I think it's a normal summon, so it's kind of bad. But it actually could work in the deck. So, yeah, going forward, Mermail's actually in a really interesting spot. We have all these new toys. Not really all these new toys. We have some new toys. We have the master rule changes. I do think going forward that Bahamut Shark... I'll talk about that in a second, actually. First off, I just want to go over what we lost, because this will kind of lead me into my next couple points. So what did Mermail lose, exactly, from the ban list? You know what we gained? And from the rule changes, I guess. So... the thing for me that hurts the most that we lost is these 2 cards, right? Or mainly just this right here, basically. We lost Engage. We lost Sky Striker. We can't really play a Sky Striker package anymore. I love playing a going second Sky Striker Mermail variant. Basically, you would use Engage and Drones and Kagari just to get monsters, to get bodies on board so you can build your Boral Sword, build your Boral Load, whatever, build your Unicorns, bait out hand traps, and just put more damage on board. There were a lot of instances where I would just like Kagari, add back drones, play drones, summon Prince, and then just get a lot of damage on board and just OTK that way. But we can't do that anymore. And it's been unfortunate. It does kind of hurt the deck a little bit because, believe it or not, you know, even though, and I don't think I ever profiled this variant, which is a shame. But in the Mermail variant that I played Sky Strikers, I would be able to resolve Engage and get to draw one pretty often. And it just gave Mermail such a more advantageous state. Not too many people seem to play the Sky Striker engine, at least post like Orcust. Once Orcust got hit, and you couldn't really splash into Mermail. But I don't know. I just really liked it. The thing that also kind of hurts, because I feel like this next thing would have been really fun to test in Mermail, and would have made Mermail a lot better right now. Well, not really this card, more so this card, is we lost Ib. So Ib, I've played in the past with a War Legacy Monstrosities variant. I think that's what that spell's, the quick play spell. You search off of Ib, summons level 9 or 2 level 9s from deck. You can make calamities and do all these crazy things. You would summon this with a Dragosack token, typically, because Dragosack token was level 3, and you use Diva. So it was another combo that was reliant on Diva, which would have been better with 2 Divas. Unfortunately, this got banned, so I can't really do that anymore. Dragosack, however, right now, I feel like it's not very good in Mermail just because of the way the Master Rolls are. But once the Master Roll changes and you can put Dragosack in any zone, I feel like this will be a lot better. I honestly feel like going forward with the new support, I know there's a spell for Atlanteans, I should say, where I think it says if you have a Water Engrave, you can search your deck for an Atlantean, so you can search for Dragoons or Prince. I feel like once that card comes out and once the Master Rolls change, Mermail will be probably one of its best states ever since, like, before Firewall got banned. Back when Mermail had Extraling and Gumblar for like 6, which was just... I miss those days, I'm not gonna lie. When I first started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, I played that variant with like Gumblar for 6, and now we can't. Anyway, this variant, we lost it, but this is gonna come back. You'll see this in Mermail decks again soon, once the Master Roll changes. Trust me. Also, we have this engine now. Now we're just going to engines I want to talk about, I guess you should say, or cards I want to talk about with Mermail. So, this fish engine, I always played this when I played Sekkas. Back when we had Firewall, this just gave you bodies on board, made you able to make a Saryuja easier. Now, I do think that Fish Mermail playing like Kolakinth can still be a thing. I did test that a few months ago, and you were able to like Extra Link and stuff, which was crazy. Pretty inconsistent, pretty bricky, but pretty fun. And I feel like, unfortunately, these cards have seen their day. I don't think they really have a place in Mermail going forward. Unfortunately, once we get Needle Fiber, once the Master Roll changes, I just don't see a need for these. They were fun. They don't know what they do, by the way. If this gets discarded, you special summon these two from deck. These two, their effects like are bad. This one, if it's like destroyed by battle, you can summon a Nimble, I think. And this one's a Tour Guide for Nimbles, but it's not that good because it's level 2. It was a fun little thing to play. It definitely helped you play through hand traps a lot. Kind of like how the Sky Striker engine was. It was kind of, in terms of how you would play it, it was kind of like just the worst Sky Striker pack. It was to get you 2 bodies on board, but at the expense of playing 2 straight up bricks. Which, you know, if you played Sekkas, wasn't as bad, of course. Speaking of Sekkas, though, one engine I want to talk about that I completely forgot to get out of my deck. This engine I'm talking about right now, I'm actually playing in my Mermail deck. So I'm playing 3 Undine, so I want to get all 3 out, and the 1 controller. So this, since we lost Sekkas, we're going to talk about it, I guess, we did lose Sekkas, is I have such a love-hate relationship with Regenexx Undine, because it can be so good, especially with Coral and Enemy. You can send Neptibus, bring it back if you have something to special. It's just so good. But you gotta play this card. And I just, lately, I've really disliked playing brick cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, in the past, this wasn't as much of a brick, like when we had Summon Sorcerers, because Regenexx Undine was a 1-card Summon Sorcerer, so you would summon this, send Regenexx, banish Regenexx, get a token, go to Spider, special this, and boom. You would be able to make Summon Sorcerers. But actually, you'd have to go to Reaper Dockers and Summon Sorcerers. But you know the drill. And I don't know, I feel like this is one of those cards that you'll always see in and out of a lot of Mermail decks. Some people play it, some won't. Going forward with Needle Fiber, it'll probably be better. Right now I'm still playing it, but I might cut. I feel like I'm only really playing it just because there's nothing else to really put in the main deck. Like, I'm also playing Instant Fusions here, which I forgot to talk about. And the reason why I'm playing Instant Fusion is it's actually a really versatile card. I'm playing 2 of them in my current build, which is definitely a rough works in progress build. And the thing with instant fusion that you can do, which is really cute, is you can summon Millennium Eyes, dodge a hand trap, summon Thousand Eyes going second, take a monster, or summon Mud Dragon and go for a rank 4 play Bahamut Shark. If you play Abyss Dweller, which is probably still going to be one of like the best cards to summon from your X deck in this current format still, even though Orcust and all these other decks are changing a lot, or just straight up dying. In the case of like Salamander and stuff. I don't know, Salamander might still be around. Orcust is definitely going to still be around. But yeah, I think that this card's really good right now, especially when the Master Roll changes. It will not be locking the extra monster zone, because right now I'm playing a Beat Cop, because you got to get rid of the fusion pretty easily. And once Master Roll changes, you don't got to put the fusion in the extra monster zone. So yeah, that's pretty good. Next up though, touched on it a little bit before, is the Frog package with Bahamut Shark. Don't know why I have 2 Ronins here. Usually I only played 1, but whatever. We have 2 Ronins, 2 Frogs as well, or 2 Toads, and the Bahamut Shark. So I'm not currently playing the Frog engine. Frog engine is pretty good. It's nice for crawling enemy. But one of the things I don't like about it is it kind of works independently from the rest of the water stuff. Like the Atlanteans and the Mermails obviously work well together. Regenexx Undine works really well with everything. These kind of work independently because, you know, when you discard Dragoons off of Swap Frog, you do not get the Dragoon Search. So if you did, oh my god. See, there's so many times in Mermail where I wish there was a card, right, that was just a 1-card discard a special that triggered Dragoon's effect, or the Atlantean's effects. I feel like that would really push. Like, if they make more actual, like, Mermail support, like a Mermail monster that just discard 1 special, and if it was level 7, oh my god. Oh my god, I just thinking about how amazing that would be. Anyway, the Frogs are good because they give you access to a negate that gives you access to more monsters by summoning during the standby phase, because, you know, how Swap Frog or Totally Awesome works. But I don't really like playing it right now because it works independently. It takes out your extra monster zone. And I feel like you're just committing a lot just for 1 negate. However, with Bahamut Shark, you don't really gotta play any of the Frogs. You can just play Totally Awesome in your deck. And once the Master Roll changes, like, I think Toads will be worth playing again. I don't know if playing the Swap Frog package in the main deck will be worth it, but definitely at least playing 1 Bahamut Shark, 1 Toad. You get a free easy negate, because, you know, you play Instant Fusion and there's other easy ways to get level 4s out. There is also this card, which is going to be pretty easy at level 4s out. Abyss Osea. I've actually really liked this card for a while. The issue I've had with Abyss Osea, I don't know what it does. Basically, you summon it, you target a Mermail monster you control, send it to the graveyard, special summon Mermail monsters whose level equal that monster's, like, combined. It's, like, pretty cool. It takes up your normal summon, which is a bit of an issue. But with the Master Roll changes, like, there's combos you can do with Mander and stuff to, like, make Bahamut Shark plays. And this card, it doesn't necessarily become, like, a great starter card, so to say, because you need other stuff in your hand. It's not like Neptibus, where Neptibus on its own, you just summon it and go. You know, it doesn't really matter what else is in your hand. This kind of relies on other stuff in your hand. But I think going forward, I'm probably going to play one of these when the Master Roll changes. It offers a lot. I've played it here and there in Mermail variants the past 2 years or so. But, and I've also just put these 2 with it because these are really the Mermails of choice you would play with Abyss Osea. This one, you special it when you add it from your hand by Mermail effect if you control a Mermail. This one, discard 1, add a level 3 Aqua. Is it level 3 or lower? Or it's level 3 Water, excuse me. It's level 3 Water, not level 3 or lower. Pike is pretty cool. I don't really play it that much. It used to be like Neptibus before Neptibus came out because it was your starter, because it was your Stratos, so to say. Now it's not as good. But yeah, going forward, I'm excited to play more Mermails, because right now the only Mermail monsters you play are Megalo, Teus, Gund, and Mander, if you play Mander. I play Mander. I think Mander's still really good. He gets Calamities out really easily. And even though Calamity is just 1 card, sometimes just having that 1 card out is really good, especially against Salamander back, you know, in the previous format, I guess now. I would always, if I play against Salamander, I always just go Calamities, Call Fire, and they can't play. So, you know, that was enough sometimes. Unless they had, you know, a Kaiju or something, I guess, but I don't know. Also, this card's really cool. White Aura Monoceros. I always mix up the effect. Basically, like, it just summons a bunch of fish from graveyard, essentially. And again, with the Master Roll changes, it's a Synchro, so you can put it anywhere. Level 7. And there's, like, a lot of really cool fish I want to play. The Nimbles are fishes if you want to play that. There's Kolakin, which is a bit different. But there's also these 2 cards, which I've always really liked. I've played one or a few of them in Mermail. If you guys remember, I think in the Crusadia Mermail variant, did I profile that? I don't even remember. But I played a really weird Crusadia Mermail deck. I don't know if I ever deck profiled it. It was really fun, but pretty bad. And I played these because Fishborg Launcher, level 1, it comes back from the graveyard, but then Spanish one leaves the field if all your graveyard's water. When we get Needle Fiber, this card could be really good. Level 1, Tuner. Makes synchro plays easier. Brionac, come back in the deck. I'm not playing Brionac right now. It really sucks we lost Ib because, oh my god, Needle Fiber with Ib and Mermail and Master Roll. Well, I guess it's still Master Roll 4. And the Master Roll change, whatever you want to call it, would have been crazy. White, Stingray is similar to Swap Frog. Discard 1, special it. Doesn't trigger Dragoons, which is really sad. But it's level 4. And level 4 is going forward will be better because we can rank 4 spam with Bahamut Shark. Speaking of rank 4 spam, another card I really like is the Tenyi Water, along with Aqua Spirit, which I'm playing one Aqua Spirit in my deck, I just didn't take it out. They're just free special summons. Play Bahamut Shark with this. It's cool. Because if you have this and Aqua Spirit, like I know this hand is like a 5-card combo, but let's say you have this, Aqua Spirit, Teus Dragoons. You could like do any Teus Dragoons combo because there's like an infinite amount of Teus Dragoons combos out there. And then you could just do this and get like a Bahamut Shark on top of it with a Toad in the new Master Roll. So, I don't know. These cards, I might play more level 4 extenders besides just the one of Aqua Spirit. I would probably lean more towards the Tenyi, just because you don't have to discard. And this thing, you don't really get anything off of the discard unless you're discarding Gund. But that doesn't really happen a lot, because I only play one Gund. And then, what else do we have here? Oh, Cressedia Arborea. This kind of was supposed to go with Pike. Level 3 tuner that's searchable off Pike. You can special it to a zone, a link monster points to. I've played one of, in older Mermail variants, I played 3 of this when I played the Cressedia variant because it's the water. Searchable off Rhoda, if you don't play Rhoda. I have thought about that. It's a tuner. I'm not sure. Like I've seen a combo where this is needed just because of the special effect. That's it. I'm not sure if you could substitute Lapis Dragon or White Sting or anything instead of this card in some of those combos. But this card might see its way back in Mermail just because of those combos. You can search off Pike. One thing that I'm also, like, while doing test hands, there are some situations where I'm like, of all of the cards that Mermail has lost, well, not necessarily Mermail, I mean, pretty much any Link Spam deck has lost in the past 2 years. Firewall, Summon Sorceress, all that, Galaxy Tomahawk. I feel like the one that I missed the most, honestly, is Nightmare Goblin. Because there were so many instances where I'm doing test hands, and I'm like, man, if I had a Nightmare Goblin in the new Master Roll changes right now, I would be able to do so much more. But unfortunately, you know, Nightmare Goblin giving you a free normal summon for basically nothing. It's a bit too good. So this card not as good in Mermail because of that. Funny how that works, isn't it? And then next up, what else do we have here? Desires. I don't know why I put this here. I'm not playing Desires. I don't like Desires in Mermail that much. Extravagance is okay if you play a pure Go and Stagnant Decay variant. I don't like doing that. I prefer going first and just making a ridiculous board. I think it's more fun. Granted, I have played Going Second next to the past and really like them, but typically I like the Going First ones more. I don't really like this card in Mermail. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's, like, unplayable. It's just, like, you know, Mermail as a deck, you do not want to banish any of your Atlantean monsters, pretty much. And this could banish them. Extravagance is better, I think, because you play pure Going Second. Don't really care what you next deck. Just play a bunch of Link 2s, like, 3 Starboys and stuff, and you're good. But yeah. And then a card I just wanted to throw in here because I just recently got 3 of them. Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood. So this is a water hand trap. That's a level 3 and a tuner. If this was Ash Blossom and Ash Blossom was a water, that's all I want. I just wanted to mention that because I'm really sad that, you know, every other Ghost Girl is like good and playable in like just about every format. Obviously some better than others, you know. Haunted Mansion isn't as great in every format, neither is Ghost Ogre. But, you know, if you had the option between Haunted Mansion, Ghost Ogre, and this, in literally any format of Yu-Gi-Oh! Ever, I don't think you would ever pick this. Ever. Which I don't really like. And then we have, one of the more interesting ones is the Marine Sisters. So the Marine Sisters remind me a bit of the Frogs, in the sense of, they don't exactly work too well with Mermail. They kind of work independently. But I just feel like they're more fun. Like, are they better? I don't know. But they do offer more like longevity in terms of your plays. Sure, the Frogs do to an extent because you are able to recycle your Frogs. I don't have Blue Tanks, by the way. Blue Tank's pretty good too. But the one time I played this at my locals, I ended up doing really well. I ended up getting top 4, and then we just split everything, so we didn't play finals or whatever. But the thing I really liked about this is it gave Mermail like a 1-card option. You know, you summon this, you keep going. Unfortunately, if you got hand trapped, it would suck. But there was instances where you could make a Link 2 and then special this without normal summoning. And then if you got hand trapped, you could just normal summon your Neptune. If you had, of course, you got to open absolute bananas to do that. But I don't know. I like the Mertz stuff. If I pick up Lutangs, which I'm gonna try to pick them up this weekend, if I get them for cheap. I know they're like $6 now, which is crazy because that sneak peek when I wanted to get them, they were like 30, and I'm like, I'll just wait. They'll probably got them like 15. They went down lower than I thought. But yeah, Mertz could be a thing in Mermail going forward. See, the thing about Mertz is I feel like it's gonna be better in the now. Versus 3 months from now, we get the master roll changes and there's just better stuff to play. So that's kind of why I'm like in a really iffy spot with Mermail, where like I am testing deck and do want to play it. But the thing with the deck is it's just gonna change so much come April 1st, the master roll changes, because I don't really need to explain why, but so much is changing for Mermail, new support, whatever. And I feel like this is probably decent now. It's not the best. You can definitely, do work with it, but basically what I'm trying to say is Mermail is a really fun deck, and I feel like the past year it's kind of been a little lackluster. Sure, we had some cool variants like the Orcus variant, which is really good, probably the best Mermail variant since the Extra Link variant in 2018. But I feel like Mermail had its peaks back when it first came out in 2012, back in about 2016-ish with like Norden and stuff like that. I didn't really play then, so I don't know too much about that. And then again in 2018, where it was probably the lowest of the three points I just mentioned, but it was still a really good point because you could just Extra Link spam, Fire All spam. You could play through hand traps a bit easier than now. And I feel like now we're finally getting to a point where Mermail is going to be a lot better. And yeah, I don't really know if this video made sense. I don't know. I'm just kind of talking a lot. I'll flash my extra deck really quickly in case you guys want to see what I'm playing. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about Mermail in the comments down below. Let me know what variants you're playing, what ideas you have, because this deck's going to get a lot crazier going forward. And with that all being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you all next time, and bye-bye.